as Africans, I believe that the kind of things that we
shauri au bei ya chakula chochote ukitakacho kuanzia vya mshahamu kile wenyewe na matunda twiga anajiunga nasi na chakula chake kupiga hivi.
Sorry about that. Let me tell him that. Sorry. Sorry, Mr. Robert, you got disconnected. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Mr. David, sorry, Robert, sorry for disconnection. So I apologize for that.
Yeah, it's okay. So
I apologize. Continue. Sorry.
It's okay. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining. So my name is Robert Chang. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Abojani Investment, where we champion conversations on personal finance and investing. So we also do market research, investments, and financial advisory. So if you need financial planning, one-on-one sessions for yourself and your family, we also help with that. So kindly allow me to switch off my video so that you can concentrate on the presentation. I'll try to make it as short as possible so that you can have a lot of time for Q&As. And thank you for taking time out of your personal times. I believe in the weekend mostly is personal time for most people. And we appreciate that you've been able to join us. So today we are going to look at money market funds or unit trusts, which are very popular here in Kenya. And just a few minutes ago, I was chatting with someone who was looking at what we offer at Abojani. And they were telling me that they've worked for the past 5 years and the only account that they have is the bank account where they receive their salaries. So you can already see how that would go. So it means that apart from the mandatory accounts like NSSF and NHIF, all they have is their salary account and all the money is there. So all their savings and they are debt-free. That's a position that many people would want to be in. But unfortunately, the little money that they might have in their bank account is just sitting there. So today we are going to look at various ways of earning money. And it's always important to know the options that are available. Then from those options, you're able to choose what works for you. So that's very important. So I'll just give a few examples. So whenever you put your money in a bank account or treasury bills and bonds, money market funds or deposits in a SACCO here in Kenya, the kind of return that you earn is known as interest. So that is interest. So it's good to know what kind of return you are getting from the investment that you put your money in. Then for dividends, if you have shares in listed companies such as Safaricom, KCB, and they pay you part of the profits at the end of the year, that's known as dividend. So the same with SACCOs, if you have shares in a SACCO, and real estate investment trusts. So that is dividend. So it's part of the profits that these companies are paying back to shareholders. Then you have capital gains. So capital gains, excuse me, everyone, can you please mute? Yeah, so capital gains, these are what you get when the value of the share price of a listed company goes up, or even your business. If the value goes up and you decide to sell a few shares, what you'll get is known as capital gains. And I think the most recent transaction in Kenya is the one for Naivas. So you can actually see that even for private businesses, sometimes you can sell part of your shareholding and you get some returns, which is commendable. At times, it is our culture just to sit with the company and die with it. So you start with a few millions or hundreds of thousands, you get tens of millions, hundreds of millions, you become a billionaire, but you never extract any value from that company, so that if something happens, you go back to where you started. And it has happened to a few individuals or even families. So it's always important to know how sometimes you can get value from your investment. Then, of course, a real estate investment, if you have rental income, that's also something that is popular in a few Kenyans. And finally, based on the value that you create, you might get earnings from salaries, wages, allowances, and things like that. So all this money that you are getting, the whole idea is to have a situation whereby this money can also be working for you. So if you are George or James, you can only be at any given point in time. So it means that you need another hand. And that extra hand is the money that you put somewhere. You've invested it and it is working hard for you. So it is working on your behalf. So that one in the world of investing is known as, or just in life, it is known as leverage. So leverage is you use what you have or what is out there to create more value. For example, if you are an entrepreneur, if you bring an employee, they're helping you create leverage, meaning that they help you do more than you could do just by yourself. So that's very, very important from an investment point of view that you look at that. So if you look at the people that we consider successful, either they invested their time in doing something career-wise, whether you're an athlete like Eliud Kipchoge, tomorrow I believe he'll be running the Berlin Marathon. We all wish him well, but he'll tell you how he invested a lot of time, and that one enables him to create value. So investing is part of life. It is said to be the goose that lays the golden eggs, such that you just keep earning from the efforts and skills that you put somewhere, and your money can help you with that. Yeah, so why unit trust? So before we talk of unit trust, the most important thing is to know that there are different options. We have treasury bills and bonds, we have SACCOs, you have chamas, you have real estate, but today we are going to look at unit trust. So it's always good to focus on one thing at a time, and we'll always have sessions for the other options that are available. So when you talk about unit trust, that is in the Kenyan market. They're also available in Tanzania and Uganda. And in other markets, they could be called mutual funds, also on a general point of view, the Capital Markets Authority of Kenya calls them collective investment schemes. But basically, these are pooled funds. So if you talk of a SACCO, you'll have SACCOs under SASRA, which is the regulatory body. And SACCOs, they have different rules. But for unit trust, basically the funds are pooled and managed by a professional fund manager who must have a license from the Capital Markets Authority. So today, someone can not just walk into your office or stop you on the road and say that they're a unit trust, that they're licensed by CMA, and you should go ahead and believe that. What you should do, you should listen to them, but later on, you should go to the Capital Markets Authority's website and look at the list of licensees and confirm if really that player is regulated by CMA. So that's very, very important that in your investing journey, you get to know how to do due diligence. So doing due diligence, I would say, is the first layer in risk management. Yeah, so, and we emphasize that, especially people who are in diaspora, you know how the story goes. People have information in terms of how Kenya is positioned from a financial markets point of view. We know the remittances that are a big part of Kenya. Now they've surpassed even the traditional foreign exchange earners such as tea, coffee, horticulture, all those things. So now it is number one, and probably more than twice any other option that Kenya has as a way of getting foreign exchange income. So foreign income. So what that means is that if someone wants to do to run a scam, anything, So the easiest place to go is where you already know that there is money. So they'll come for you as a diaspora person, or as a Kenyan professional, as an entrepreneur, because at least they have an idea that you're earning. We have data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, which say that about 6 million Kenyans are unemployed. But we know that that number could be higher, because people who are employed in the formal sector, there are only 3 million. Then about 15 are employed in the informal sector. So probably they do casual work, or there are people who wake up in the morning and they don't know where they're going to get their income for that day. So they'll always target professionals, the 3 million who are known to be working class, and the diaspora, people who are known to be bringing in a lot of money to Kenya. You'll be targeted. So your first point of defense is to at least know the instruments that are available in the financial markets, who are the regulators, and which organizations are regulated. So that is very key. Then you look at your goals in the short term and long term and see where you can put money. So unit trust, we'd say they're good if you are looking for a place to park funds. So I'll also share a calculator that can show you how to earn income on a monthly basis from unit trust, which can help you. So let's say you're running a project at home back in Kenya, and you need to have 10 million, 20 million, 5 million, or even 1 million. So instead of just leaving it in a bank account and maybe the project is going to start 3 months from now, unit trust, and specifically money market funds, as we're going to see, there are some of the best places to put that money so that you can earn for you some passive income. So that money would help you so that by the time you start doing the project 3 months down the line, probably you'd have earned quite some good money. And also, if you need money that you can easily access within 2 to 4 working days, probably you need to do some transactions in Kenya, but the people that you are working with are people who can wait for 2 to 4 working days. Then it's good to put that money in a money market fund, a unit trust, and it will give you returns generally between 8 to 11% currently. There are times that there is to be higher, but currently that is the rate, which is still quite good compared to any interest that you get from the banking sector. Yeah, so again, regulation is key. So please ensure that when things go wrong, there is what we call recourse. So recourse is basically, there's at least a way through which you can be helped. And the best example is when things didn't go too well at Chase Bank, and the people who had money there, at least they've gotten up to 75% of that money back. So you'd say, yes, it was not the best thing in terms of what you expected, but at least someone fought on your behalf, whether it is the central bank or KDIC. They went and whatever they could salvage out of that situation, you've gotten something back, which is a good position, or probably the best position as compared to you having a one-on-one deal with someone. So the government is not with you whenever you're meeting someone in the US, the UK, or even in Nairobi. When you are discussing investments with someone at Java, believe you me, you have freedom of association in Kenya. We can't get into your personal conversation. So the government won't be there when you are convinced to put in your 5 million, 10 or 20. And when things go wrong, it will just go to the judiciary. And that would be the element of, you know how it will go. Even if the other person is wrong and something happens, they'll just be told probably to arrange for a payment plan. And believe you me, when someone has your debt generally, if it is a civil case, you'll just be told, discuss with them, and you agree on a payment plan. So probably they'll give you 50,000, even if they had 20 million, and they'll tell you, please wait for another 1 million 6 months down the line. And you'll find yourself in a situation whereby it's very difficult to get out of that, and probably you are never going to get your money back. So to ensure that you protect yourself, ensure that you work with regulated players. So again, there's ease of access to funds, and all the players who are currently in the unit trust schemes, you'll be able to monitor your investments remotely. So maybe through their website, there's an app, web app, or a mobile app that you can download, and you'll be able to view and see that this is the amount of money that is there. And on a monthly basis, they'll share with you your statement. So at least you have some form of control in terms of monitoring and knowing where things are going. Yeah. So for the specifically money market funds, as we've seen here in Kenya, usually they guarantee the principal, and that means that at least in the worst case scenario, you'll get your principal back. But again, in terms of doing due diligence, I'm going to share with you practically how to do that and try to work with the top and established funds, because generally in the financial markets, the top funds, they have so much to lose. So because of that, they'll try to safeguard your money compared to the smaller ones. So the legal framework, again, like you said, is very important. So it's always important to know. So there's a situation whereby investors invested in a fund in Kenya. The company as a whole is regulated by CMA, but they introduced some funds that were not regulated. So always look at the legal structure of the fund that you're investing in, look at the terms and conditions. So I think for that fund, they have what we call LLP. And you know, LLP is, they can have a board that can make decision on behalf of all of you as investors or partners. And that is what happened in that scenario. So people are told, yes, you can't get your money back. Now you can see if there's a house to get. So you start hearing funny stories. So to avoid such, just to ensure that at least from a legal point of view, you are covered and you really know what you're getting into. And there's always, what we say, there's always enough time to do that. There's enough time in sub-Saharan Africa. And I think even in the US, KEMEN, if I'm not wrong, there's BT or black time. Is that true? Like, there's black time, right? So we always take our time. So please, just like we take our time when we want to go for meetings, for investment, again, take some 5 minutes, 21 hour, and ensure that you have the right information and you're working with the right fund managers. So Capital Markets Authority is the regulator of unit trusts, and under unit trust we have trustees. So trustees basically watches over the fund on your behalf. So for example, if you look at CIC Money Market Fund, the trustee is KCB. Sorry, for CIC, we have CIC Britam. So I'm just going to confirm that shortly. But you need to know that the trustee is the organization that is going to look at after your interest in that fund. So if there are, let's say KCB, for example, KCB is a trust, a bank that you can trust. And we also have a money market fund that doesn't have a trustee, and still people invest there. So you find that the regulator tried to help people, but the company went to court. Now there's a lot of back and forth. And because of that, that fund doesn't have a trustee. So these are the things that you need to know from a legal point of view. So the custodians, for example, Britam, their custodian is Stanchart. And for CIC, they have Corp Trust. So those are organizations that you can trust because they have very big businesses. And because of that, they would want to ensure that the small funds, such as the money market fund, should not be the basis of them losing trust of investors. So those are some of the indicators you need to look at. And of course, the fund manager is the asset management company that is licensed by CMA. So whether it is the CIC Asset Management Company or Britam Asset Managers. And finally, where you fall into place is the unit holder. So you are the person who is investing. So that's the legal framework. So get to know which fund you are getting into. So when you're investing in funds, there's what we call the fact sheet. So I'm going to tap on the chart. So that's the first thing you should be looking at. The fact sheet should give you a lot of information about the fund that you're getting into. So it's always advisable that you start by doing due diligence first before you invest, not the other way around. Because you can invest today, then the more you look or seek for clarification, the more you realize how wrong you are. So that is something that you always need to know, that due diligence is key. So you also need to know where the funds are invested. So under the fact sheet, they should tell you where the funds are invested. So fixed deposit accounts, so they're able to get higher returns than most of us as ordinary people because they pool funds, so they have a higher bargaining power. So probably they get it at a higher percentage. If you could get it at 6%, probably for them, you'd get it at 8%. So also have call deposits also in banks, and you have treasury bills from the government, and the commercial papers and corporate bonds. So always ensure that they don't invest a lot of money in corporate bonds and commercial papers, because the risks there are slightly higher. But you'll find that the good funds, a very big percentage of that money is in fixed deposit and government securities. So those are also things we need to look at. And who should invest? Like you said, if you're looking for a secure fund, especially for the busy entrepreneurs and professionals, so you're already so busy with your work or business and you don't really have time to follow things on a day-to-day basis. And because of that, you just want to invest in a fund that is safe, so that when you're sleeping at night, at least you can have a restful night and not worry about your investments. So again, when you look at the returns are at around 8 to 11%. So the risk is low. And from a liquidity point of view, you can get your money between 2 to 4 working days. So you can just request. Some of them, they have apps where you can request. So also, you can write an email, then you'll get your funds into your bank account. So the bank account that you use for opening these funds is where you'll get your money back. So sometimes retail investors, we want to complicate life. Someone maybe is an IT guru and they're saying, why can't CIC have an option where I can open a money market account without a bank account, so that I can just use my M-Pesa. So M-Pesa, if you look at it from the financial sector, it is not a bank account. And there's a reason why the financial sector insists on people using bank accounts for certain transactions. Is because banks are more mature in terms of doing what we call KYC. So that is know your customer. Because again, financial markets could be used by bad people to cause harm for all of us. So when we are told that, so a good investor follows simple instructions on things that don't really matter. So just open a bank account, then from there, connect it to your money market account. So you'll be transferring money either from your M-Pesa to your money market account or from bank to money market account. But when you withdraw, you'll always go to your bank account. So it's important. Some things are basic. Having an M-Pesa account is not what is going to make us a billionaire or a millionaire. We should look at the bigger picture. So I see that as a mind block where some people end up arguing and that prevents them from investing. So Anne says that she can't hear anything. So I don't know if there's anyone who can hear me, please say yes, so that Anne can check.
Yes, we can hear. We can hear.
Okay, thank you. So Anne, please check on your side.
Yeah.
Robert, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. So the other things that you need to know, like in the short term, the things that could affect your returns are the government securities. And the reason why I've put May 2021 is to show you that these numbers are dynamic. Probably today's numbers are different, right? So like, for example, 364-day T-bills, they're at 9.9%. And this information, excuse me, is available on the homepage of Central Bank of the Central Bank website. The Central Bank website, if you go to the homepage, it will give you an idea of the kind of reasonable returns to get in Kenya. So if someone comes to you today by day and they say that you give them their money, they're going to give you 18%, you should think twice, because currently the bank lending rate, for example, is 12%. And banks are looking for such people who claim to have cash flow. Businesses where cash flow is guaranteed, banks are looking for them to give them loans. And if the banks achieve their targets, the CEOs are usually given crazy bonuses. So they look for such businesses. If someone comes to you, you should think twice. Why is the government rate of this 9.9%, bank rates are 12%? Why is this person getting this opportunity where they can get 18% returns? And why can't they go and take a bank loan at 12% instead of donating to you an extra 6%? And let's be honest with each other. Whenever things have gone wrong, even the banks where things didn't go too well, we know very well, that there were the ones who are very, very generous with fixed deposit rates, or if it is an organization where things have gone wrong from an investment point of view, we say the hawk returns. So rarely will you find serious organizations hawking that they have X returns. They have no time. You'll never see fit to do that, KCB, Britam, CAC. Them, they're just busy looking for good investment opportunities to serve you. But whenever you see an organization trying to attract you with returns, please just think first. I'm not saying that it is wrong, but data shows that that is where things are likely to be wrong, because sometimes the organization can be desperate, they're struggling with finding customers. So the high interest rates can be a bait. But once the money is there, you'll start hearing stories, right? And you've seen those stories whereby when you want your money back now, they hire people who are very good in PR. And let me tell you, ordinary people like me and you, this English thing just came with the shape, like people usually say. There are people who know how to speak to us, and they convince us that you can wait for 3 months. But ideally, the reality would be that your money is not there. So they're just buying time to allow you to get busy and probably forget. And they might reach a day where now the reality dawns on you. And probably it will be a Zoom meeting, you're told now this and that. And for some of them, you might never hear again from them. So because of that, it's very, very important to at least know also certain dynamics in the market. So from an investment point of view, so you can see when we thought that these rates were high from an inflation point of view, as we speak now, we are talking about 8.5%. That's the inflation rate in Kenya. So pretty high. But the good news is that today I saw that the international crude oil prices are coming down. And you know, we rely on importing petroleum products. So hopefully the inflation rates will come down. But ideally, this should tell you that when you just leave your money in a bank account at 0%, you're actually losing value by just leaving the money there. So saving is good from a mindset point of view, but once you've decided that you're going to set a certain amount of money aside, please invest it so that it works for you. It will help you to sustain your lifestyle. So people back here at home, or I think even in the US, the inflation rate is high. So basically it means that you're using more money to purchase the same items that you're probably purchasing at lower prices previously. So inflation protects you and your family's wealth. So how do you join a money market fund account? So under unit trust, they have several funds, but you always advise that look only at the money market fund because of what we talked about. Capital preservation, then they're invested in low risk investment. So investment is unlikely to go down below the principal that you put in. And all you need, generally there are 4 things. So you need your national ID or passport, then KRA PIN. You'll also need bank proof. So this one is the front part of the ATM or a bank statement. And please, please never share with anyone the back side of your ATM. So whenever image of ATM is required, you share only the front part. And then there's your passport photo. So sometimes you find that people who have issues with their national ID or passport, or the names are different. So please, such things, just try to sort them. Just know that the investment industry is a very straightforward place and conservative. So they don't understand why you have different names. And I believe sometimes let's also be fair to them, because now I have had cases where now someone is shouting at the money market fund officers, why aren't you guys helpful? So that I think is a totally different problem in Kenya, right? And you just need to sort it out or find a way to just have a case whereby your bank account and national ID, the documents are consistent from maybe your name point of view, and then you invest and you move on. So investing doesn't like people who antagonize each other, people who like fights. You know, you are supposed to live a different lifestyle as an investor. Usually say you invest, then you relax. The dividend will just come, then you relax. That's the life of an investor. What should be working hard on is your business or your career. Then once the money comes, just put it. It becomes seamless. And you'll find that investors are usually people that during tough times, they try to figure out what can I do for myself? Can I invest more? You know, can I cut down on expenses? And because of that, they're rewarded with the returns, because we have the compounding element in investment. So if you earn 100,000 and it is plowed back into the money market fund, that will earn you an extra 10,000 next year. So you can see the money is just growing. And that's why investors, you can say they're unique people, because they benefit from the opportunities that are available in ecosystems or countries. Yeah, so the pros here, you can easily access your investments, relatively small amounts of money. So you can start even with 5,000 or 10,000. There's liquidity, then there's the compounding element. So compounding simply means that the interest that you earn becomes part of the new principal, and it earns you more interest in it. So it continues to earn for you returns, and your money grows. Then they give better returns than bank deposits and even savings accounts, and they're managed by professionals. There's also diversification. So licensed money market fund. So one thing that we do at Bojani is that we like being practical. So I know that we'll come back to my contacts, but I just want to show you an example. So let's say that you have some money that you put in a money market fund. Instead of leaving it in a bank account to earn 0%, so let's say you have 2.5 million. If you put it there, you can see the kind of return. So this is money that you can pay your work at home. If you're in diaspora and you have someone who is working for you at home, believe you me, that interest can pay them on a monthly basis. But if you don't withdraw the interest, again, it is earning money for you. And you can just see that money is growing. So just look at this if you're leaving it for several years. See the money that you'll forgo if you don't put it here and you leave it in a bank account. And let me tell you, I used to work in a bank. As a bank, I would be very happy if you leave for us this 2.5 in our account. We lend it to KEMEN at 12% and enjoy the rewards as you give it to us at 0%. So it's up to you by then to look at your investment and look at the options that are available and just ensure that your money is also working for you. So this is a good example. Sometimes people complain that the government takes taxes, but that one, just know that the idea of the government is to find sources of growth. So again, as your leaders in diaspora and even local, you can talk to them, your MP, to petition so that the taxes can be reduced. That's the best strategy, by the way. The best strategy is not complaining. The best strategy is to find a common voice and convince them that to encourage more people to save, probably let's remove these taxes. And one day, maybe the government will listen. So that's how things work if you want to change things as investors. Because I remember there's capital gain tax that was introduced in the Nairobi Securities Exchange, and investors complained and it was removed. So it's always good to know that if we come together as investors with one voice, sometimes things can work our way. So this is just an example. It's just to show you that if you invest here, there's money to be made. Is your money working for you? At the end of the year, you can go for holiday with the 60,000 only of the 195 and still remain with 130. So you can see the life of an investor. As someone else is rushing to the bank to get an unsecured loan or to the mobile app or using credit card to go for holiday, there's someone who is actually using part of the investments to go for holiday, and still that money will earn them more money in the coming years. Yeah. So the first place for due diligence is Capital Markets Authority. So please always listen to the regulators. Even as the information that we give you, you'll find it on the regulator's website. So that's the reference point. So always go to the primary site. And when you come here, there is the list of licensees. Let me check where it is. So please, let CMA website be your friend. There's enough time to do that due diligence. So let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here. So go to quick menu, then list of licensees. Please, for fund management, and it is updated as at 19th of September. So this is the most recent one. So once you go there, you go to collective investment schemes. So which company do you want us to look at? So let's look at the top ones. So these are all licensees that are regulated by the Capital Markets Authority. So you can see even the Nairobi Securities Exchange is regulated. We have other players. We have the derivative brokers, they're there, investment banks for buying and selling shares. So you can see the players are here, stock brokers, for guys who do Forex. So you can see that there. So someone can come to you claiming that, okay, thanks, KEMEN. Let me share again. Sorry about that. So I hope you can see my screen. So I've gone to CMA's website under the list of licensees. So there's quick menu, then the list of licensees. Let me know if you can see the screen now.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so this is the list of licensees available on the CMA website and updated regularly. So you can see, like, the stock brokerage firms are there, but today we're interested in the collective investments schemes. So even rate managers are there, coffee brokers, rate trustees. So you can see authorized dealers. So here are the money market funds or the collective investments schemes. So for example, we have African Alliance. So BRITAM is the British American Unit Trust. So please, these are now the nuances. So you must be a ground person. Sometimes it's good to know context. So you might come here and you don't see BRITAM and start wondering. So BRITAM actually means British American. So I hope that is clear. There's a time it used to be BRITAC, right? Yeah, but at least you can see there. So the fund that we are talking about, please, for most retail investors, they would say for a start, just look at the money market fund. In future, if you get sophisticated, you can try other funds. But I always say the money market funds tend to be the best. So again, if you want USD investments, you can look for a fund with USD, but try to see that they have what we call capital preservation. So that's a word that you should always be using when interacting with investment funds. So you have ICA there, standard investment. So you have CAC again there, Madison. So you can see all of them there. Then there's a list that CMA shares. So I downloaded one of them. Let me see if I can get it. It just shows the performance at a given point in time. So the performance here is based on the size of the fund. So for returns, you don't necessarily have to go with the fund with the highest returns. I would say as long as the fund gives you, as long as the fund gives you 8% and above, they're good. But you don't have to go for a fund because it is giving 11% while others are giving 8%. So sometimes when they are too aggressive like that is when they can end up making mistakes. So in this list, I'm going to show you, though as at 2020, but you'll generally have a feel of the top funds. So again, this is known as CMA Statistical Bulletin. So just come here and check collective. Yeah, so collective. So you can see you have collective investment schemes. Excuse me. Yeah, so you'll come and see. This is as at 2019, but actually as we speak, CAC is now at 50-something. We have Britain. So the top 5 are actually, as we speak, NCB has come to top 5. I don't know why I'm not seeing the latest one. Let me see where I can get the latest one. So let me go for the latest one. That is a bit old. So you can, this is part of what we call due diligence here. So please do it to ensure that at least you get into an arrangement that you understand, or at least you have some information that can make you feel confident. So do you see here, in terms of size, so the biggest one as we speak is CIC, followed by NCBA, you have Britain, ICA, Sanlam. So sometimes it's just wise to go for these top funds because you can see they're from very reputable organizations. So when you are starting, you have to look at opportunities with low risk, and part of the reputation risk is that people who have been around for quite some time with more diversified businesses, they tend to have something to lose. But you can look at the top 10 and see which one you'd go for and ensure that you feel comfortable with that farm before you get into it. Yeah, so sometimes you might find that funds that are relatively smaller, but they are very loud in terms of noise, they're the ones who will come to you. But since you don't have this information, you want to know that there are other options. So in investing, the key trick is to look at the options available, then choose what would work for you. Don't go for a fund because someone has convinced you. So please go for what would work for you. So the percentage change here simply means that this fund like this one grew from 52 billion to 56. So it's just the size of the fund growing. But the returns generally are between 8 to 11%. Yeah, so that is it from me. I don't want to dilute what has been shared. I'll now take questions, and you can always interact with us. If you want to open an investment account, we can help you. And if you have any questions, we can always help you. We have our Twitter handle, which is at Dabojani. We have a Telegram channel. We have a Facebook page, Facebook group, and we're always available to help people, whether they're in diaspora or whether they're at home. So thank you very much, and back to you, KEMEN.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for your information. I'll allow 4 questions, and you can put some few on the chart because we want to be shorter. And man, I want you to be coming once a month, me and you here, the 3rd Saturday of every month. So if you don't mind. So what is your advice for we who are in diaspora? This is Kamnao, the chairman of KEMEN. What is that advice? Because so many have bought land. Personally, I bought a couple of land, some in Malindi, some in Nairobi, but I'm just like, it's just there. So what is your advice for us? Where to invest? And then 4 people can be ready with questions, and once is answered mine. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you, KEMEN. So what I would say that from an investment point of view, it is good to also look at liquidity. So the lands, I won't say that we shouldn't buy them, but what we should look at is basically in the long run, what really matters is a liquid asset. So it's important that after having those pieces of land, sometimes you might find that you have 6 of them, you are buying because of speculation. So depending on one's age, I think people should actually think of should think of consolidation. So this is how consolidation works. So let's say you are in diaspora and you are thinking of returning. You are thinking of being a returnee. So returning home 101. So probably you bought an apartment, so you don't have a problem where you stay. But you find that even with that apartment, you need probably 200,000 Kenya shillings per month, right? So what you can do, you might find that out of those 6 pieces of real estate, you can actually sell 3 and you earn 20 million, depending on the amount that you have. It could be 5, it could be 10, it could be 20. And now that money you can put in money market fund. So you can see from that calculator the kind of returns that you are getting. So with 20 million, 10 million, you can find some good passive income on a monthly basis. And part of it you can even put in infrastructure bonds, which probably we'll look at in the coming session, so that today we just focus on this. So that's what we are saying, because the piece of land won't help you move around Nairobi. It won't pay for your bills here. It won't buy your air ticket. So you just need cash, and cash comes from these liquid financial instruments. And again, the pieces of land, if you hold them for too long, there's really no value that they'll offer. So it's good to balance. The portfolio is supposed to help you live the life that you desire, create the impact that you want for your family. Probably you need to pay for school fees and things like that. That's why I usually say, yes, we all start from land. That is how we are raised in Kenya. That's what we know from the one. Most people, their first ever loans when they get into employment would be to buy a piece of land. But I believe as you become exposed, you see the possibilities, and it's important now to look at financial market. We have unit trust, we have government securities, and we also have the stock market. Because, for example, Safaricom is usually being featured all over the world, even on CNN. but you might find that it's the foreigners who are excited on investing in it. So in the past financial year, the last one, they made revenue of 298 billion. That money is from all of us as Kenyans, but foreign investors are the ones who are going to enjoy the dividends and capital gains. So because of that, we really need to start investing locally and grow our investment markets so that you can all benefit. Thank you.
All right. For the first question, thank you very much. Anybody quick? And there's also some question in the chat as you wait for somebody to ask. You can unmute and ask. Go ahead. All right. Mr. Robert, there's some question at the chat. You want to answer those?
Yeah, so Sheila is asking, can one open for a minor? So Sheila, currently, if you are to open, it will be under your name. So you can just open under your name. Then once they reach 18, they can open one and you transfer the money to them. But for accounts for investing in shares, you can open for a minor, but not MMF currently.
All right, more questions.
So again, for minors, please, the birthdays that we do, you buy a cake worth 5,000 or 10,000, and I know that there are going to be some celebrations. Probably you're going to use 10 or 20. So you can say if the birthday bash is worth 20, put another 20 for them in the money market fund. So just imagine doing that from year 1 to year 18, how much they'll be having, plus interest, quite some money. So let's also learn to get creative when it comes to investing, because that's a good motivation. You know, birthday is an event that is coming and you're usually excited about it. But if you look at it very well, yes, the birthday is good, is an intangible asset in the family. It makes the children happy, but we can extend it and also create future happiness for the children. So just get them to get started on investing. So, so Rebecca, yeah, so for the question that Rebecca has asked, so we can ask in other platforms, because today we are looking only at money market fund. Jambo says, is it possible to buy T-bills online? So currently, no. If you are outside Kenya, no. But in the next session, KEMEN, we can look at treasury bills and bonds. So currently, Jambo, what you can do, just work with the banks, such as Equity, open an account with them, and tell them you want to invest in treasury bills or bonds, and they'll help you. That is the easiest way. But we'll also look at other ways of doing that in the next session.
All right, cool. Otherwise, if there's nobody with a burning question, we're gonna wrap it up. We want to stay here for a long time because I've asked Robert to come next month, and as you heard, we'll be talking about treasury. And man, I'm like always excited when you invite all of us to talk about investment. There's so much excitement. So if there's nobody else with a burning question, I will ask Mr. Robert to how can you help us and where can we get hold of you? And then is that yes, you're coming the 3rd Saturday of next month. I'm so excited about this, and let's see what we're gonna do.
Yeah, so thank you very much. So for anyone who wants to reach me on WhatsApp, you can chat us through that number. And our email is also learning@abojani.com. So please, my message to all of you is please, let's empower ourselves. So economic empowerment is the only way for us as Africans, as Kenyans. Believe me, if you are empowered, even the kind of problems and discussions that we are having will change. So our sons, our daughters, our cousins, they'll be too busy to attend political rallies and buy those ideas. So probably you'll be like Germany. So there's a day they had an election and there's Berlin Marathon, and the two things happen on the same day. That can't happen in Kenya, but it is because of lack of economic empowerment. So if you have something that you're doing for yourself, sometimes it could be just going to the beach and relaxing, looking at the sky and actually seeing that the sky is really enjoying life. Yeah, so sometimes you can be in business, you are a professional. So it's good with economic empowerment. I can tell you the quality of discussions, the quality of life will go up. but it usually starts at the family level. People think that there's a success known as Kenya or the US, but believe you me, it starts at the family level. So when you talk about the US or Kenya, it is just an aggregate. So this is an opportunity for us to keep learning, to share in conversational forums, and then you get started. Above all, it's always important to open that account. Start with something, whether it is 10,000 Kenya shillings, 100, it will be worth it in the future. So I believe in doing that. Then as you progress, you bring more people from your lineage and we learn and grow together. So thank you very much, KEMEN, and everyone who joined today. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Before I pray, on behalf of KEMEN, KEMEN is Kenyan Men Organization that was founded in America and is networking with all other men and every other organization. And if you want to reach out to us, it's 254kemen.org, Kenyan Men Network. We reach out to everyone. I want to invite you next Tuesday. Once a month, we always meet to talk about mental issue. It's going to be 8 Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be talking about mental issue. And this Tuesday, we're emphasizing on mental issue, depending on alcohol and all that affects our family. So you're welcome to that. This live is on YouTube under KEMEN. I'm going to be sharing it on the different forum. Thank you again. We're going to meet the same time next month, every Saturday. So emphasis is going to be on pushing on investment and how we can be better investors. So thank you so much, Robert. I appreciate you. I'm going to be reaching out to you because I think I'm going to pursue your company to help me on investing on mambo ya pesa. Mambo ya shamba lakini ni poa, lakini pia we have to invest on issue money. So otherwise, let me pray, and I want to bless you, Mr. Robert, and everybody else. Father, we thank you and we lift up your name because you're so great as we invest, as we think about our future of our children and our family. Jehovah God, I thank you because you're awesome, Lord. I ask you to bless the work of your servant, Robert. He's been reaching out to all of us to tell us how we can invest and be better investors. And I ask you to bless all of us and even all us where we are in diaspora and back in Africa, Lord. Jehovah God, I even pray that as inflation is going on, may you bring it down and we understand and invest better. Bless us all this weekend, Lord. We thank you and we bless you. And it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. And on behalf of KEMEN, I bless you all. Have a lovely weekend.